each other. So, is it? Yeah, it shows red.
Pause. Okay, that better?
Yeah, now we hear you.
So, to really come here and look and say, I am favored, I am blessed. Why? Well, some reasons that come to mind for me is that because you all chose on a soul level to be here at this particular time in this physical body during this time that all this growth is going on. And how we are getting closer to the truth inside. Now, some of our minds may say, well, I haven't liked what's going on in the world. There's too much disasters going on, there's too much this, there's too much that. But it's all reminiscent of bringing the light up above, from below up above. We have to go through all this stuff. And you're here to experience that. Which means you may be going through things in your own life that don't feel good to you. But that's okay. You come here. So you are blessed because you chose to be here at this particular time. So be grateful for that and say, yeah, my soul came here, whether I really am happy about it or not happy. I'm here right now to learn more. You're also blessed and favored because you're part of this teaching, which is called New Thought. Very powerful teaching. You're also blessed because you're part of this center, which is called Fellowship of Spirit. Yes. Fellowship, joining together.
Yes.
Hallelujah.
Okay? Been wanting one of those for a while. You're also blessed because you have each other.
Yes.
We go away, we come back,
Yes.
we connect to one another, we learn from one another, we get to experience love to one another. And you're also blessed because you have me as your minister here.
Amen.
And I say that to you because of this reason. Being here as the minister, I hold the place of love for all of you. I hold the place of growth and spirituality. And on top of that, I do my own, as evidenced by these 2 trips I took the last couple of weeks, which really helped my growth in my spirituality and my oneness with God. I am so blessed with what's gone on this last month. And I want to share some of that with you. And it reminds me, yesterday I was at a training all day long for mediation, which is what I do for child custody cases, one of the things I do. And we were doing a training around domestic violence and how to take those cases on. And the guy that was teaching it, I felt like I was in a college classroom with all these terms he was using. It was very intellectual. And it put people in boxes and titles, which I don't like. And finally, I sat there listening to it for hours on end, taking notes, trying to digest it, and it didn't quite feel right to me. And finally, I just raised my hand and said, listen, I'm having a hard time with this because it's too darn intellectual. For me, I operate my life out of this word right here, love. Because that's all there is. And so when I go work with clients, I connect to love. I don't pay attention to how they're acting and put a title on it like they're this or they're that or any of that other stuff, because I know that they're in fear. And we all are either here or here. So I want to be here in love more and connection. And so that's how I treat my clients. And the ones that are in fear, I can just acknowledge and pray for them. And it's the same for me and the same for us. We're feeling a lot of love when we come here, but there's sometimes we get into fear, don't we?
Yeah.
And we just acknowledge it for what it is. It's the opposite of love. It's interesting that these 2 things are up because I'm going to go to something else here. But this is the first time I brought these out here because I looked at, this is everything that I've written down I'm going to talk about can be divided or brought back into either love or fear, which is our connection to God. That's all that matters. But the last time I had those words out, Scott was here. And I actually brought him up, remember? And you... No. But the fact is, he's come back today. I'm like, okay, must be some special message for you or for us from that. Who knows? Always. So, over time, while I've been here, people have asked me, could you explain a little bit more about what New Thought means? Could you help me understand how to express it out in the world? Okay? There's lots of times I do that in my talks, but maybe they weren't there at that time or didn't quite sink in, and so it's like going over the material, which is an important thing to do. Also, there's some people here who have reactions to certain words in New Thought. which needs to be acknowledged, but we want to look at that and say, what is our reaction about? Why is it here? So, as a result, while I was on my retreat, Spirit said, you need to start talking about it. So I know it's not big. I wrote it out, and I'm going to have to make it bigger for guys in the back room there, okay? So while I was on my retreat, I started writing all these words down. This is all part of New Thought. So what we've got is Spirit, Christ, God, Spirit, Source, Presence, Soul, Principle, Consciousness, Gratitude, Trust, Surrender, New Thought, Ascension, Fifth Dimension, Universe, Separation, Ego, Oneness, Jesus, Christian religions. Those are words that are all part of New Thought that some people have a reaction to or don't understand, would like some more clarity to them. Is there any others that you have that's been sitting within you? Anybody? Or did I cover them all?
I didn't quite understand the question.
Is there any other words that we use here at Fellowship that's New Thought that I don't have up here that you want some more understanding of?
I would just like to add way shower, because we refer to Jesus.
Well, that's what I'm going to talk about when that's why I put his name up, because it causes a lot of reaction to people. And yes?
God that I am.
Okay, I am. That's a good one.
I am Godness, if you will.
We'll put that I am and then expand on it. Yes?
I grew up as a kid in Christian Science, and Mary Baker Eddy's was her definition of God. God, the great I am, the all-knowing, all-seeing, all-acting, all-wise, and eternal, principle, mind, soul, spirit, life, truth.
Good. They're all up there. Very good.
7 years.
And we can expand that more when we get to these words a little bit more. So that's good, okay? Is there any others that people want me to put up here, or have I covered them? Well, good. We did it, Source. We covered the words. So these ones I just added today because they came to me, because what I want to do is start with oneness. And then we'll go over all of these. Not today. This is going to be like a 3 or 4 series talk, so you need to come back, okay?
If this one's good, we'll be back.
What? If the first one's good?
Boy,
They're all good, my dear. It's Spirit speaking through me. So, next week we have a guest speaker that will be here, so we'll have to continue the week after that. But we'll see how long it takes to go through these things and discuss them and get some better understanding of them. Would that be good? Okay. So let's start with oneness. What that word means is there is only one. One what? When we look at each other, we go, well, you're Scott, you're Sue, you're Mark, you're so-and-so, etc. We're all separate from one another. How can we be one? What is this thing you talk about? Well, when we look at one, we only say the one mind, the one source, the one creator, the one heart. That's all there is. Oh, but that can't be because I'm here and you're here and so forth. It's very difficult sometimes to really understand that, to see that I am here in this physical body. My soul is here, which is another word we have up here. In this physical body, my soul was breathed out of the mouth of God. Well, how wonderful is that? To know that I am more than George. You are more than who you are. You're more than your body. I'm more than my body. I'm more than my experiences that go on. What I am is this divine energy thing that we call soul that was breathed out of the mouth of God, meaning God in all of its infinite wisdom and joy and happiness as the one mind and the one creator created all of us out of itself. So there's no separation. There's only one. God is in each and every one of us. Totally. And we come down in this physical body, then of course we forget that. We get into separation and so forth. We got to remember who we are. The big truth that we are this, God is in us. We're just an instrument. We're just here to allow Spirit to live through us, to be itself as best as it can be. Is that making sense? The more that we get to the point of knowing that, then we can look at other people and say, well, if this is who I am, that's who you are. You are the Christ. You are the soul. You are one with God. There is no separation unless you make it appear that way somehow. It only happens through our thoughts. But we get to look at everything in the whole world around us as one. All of us are one. If we could understand that more when we come together and see each other and see that we are the Christ, we are God, we are the mind, we are the heart of God. All of us is all of that inside of ourselves. And I come up, and it doesn't matter how you look, what your name is, what my experience is from you or with you over time. It doesn't matter. All that matters is we are one with God and Source, which is the ultimate, which we'll get to. What?
In him, with him, and through him.
Right.
Unity of the Holy Spirit.
So, having this teaching about starting with oneness, I've had the experience of that over the last 4 weeks, being on a retreat last week or week before last in the Ministers Development Conference. It's really interesting to wake up my mind and my awareness when I'm in an airport and walking by people, and my mind could go, oh God, that guy's a little overweight, this guy's thin, now there's tall, look at that outfit they're wearing, blah, 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 blah. Or I could walk down and just be the light and go, look at the Christ and everybody that's here. There's the oneness. Feel it in my heart that there is the oneness, that I'm not separate from anybody. I don't know who they are. I don't know where they're from. All I know is they came from the same place I came from.
And they're on a long, hard journey.
Yeah. They've experienced upset and sadness and lack and all sorts of things, and joy and happiness and all the things that we all as human beings experience. And so it's really wonderful to have this teaching and to wake up and to walk through an airport and just kind of say hi to my brothers and sisters on a different level. And then to crowd ourselves into this plane that's going to fly somewhere, and we're all together, and I get to look at these people as they're coming on the plane and bless each and every one of them again. How glorious is it that I have the opportunity to do that, to practice being in oneness. So I had a bunch of experiences, but one of them is that flying Southwest, you have to call up and get there early enough, and they put you in seating A, not seating, but where you stand in the line, A, B, or C. You want to be in A so you can get in and get a good seat. Well, I was in B25 or something, and so most of the seats were taken. I had to sit in the middle somewhere, which I don't like, but I had to just bless the people I was with and say, here I am. But coming back from Nashville to Dallas, again, I was given a number because I could only get there late, and it was like C something. And on it said, you can pay to get moved up to A. And I thought, well, let me check and see how much that is. So I asked the guy at the counter, he said, $25 and we'll give you A2. And I'm like, God, that's worth it. I think I'll do that. So I'm A2, I'm standing in line, and there's nobody around me. There's like, the next one's A7 or 8 down there, you know, I'm all by myself. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. I go on the plane, and the front row is totally empty. I've never sat in the front row before. This is going to be kind of nice. So I grab the aisle seat and the front seat. I'm like, I wonder who's going to join me, or if anybody's going to join me. People kept walking by. They looked at it, but they just went by. Now, I don't know if they didn't feel worthy enough to sit there or what was going on. I thought by now it should have been filled up, you know. Wouldn't you want to sit in the front? Finally, some guy come in, and he was totally surprised. He says, oh, my God, it's empty. Can I sit there? And I said, sure. So he sat by the window. Nobody joined us in the middle. So it was just he and I. We talked, connected. It's really kind of neat to meet people when that happens. So I fly to Dallas, and then I've got an hour layover or something like that. And so I'm sitting there, and I'm in the line, and I'm still C something from the last one. Should I go buy another ticket and move up to A2 or something? And I'm thinking, no, this flight's only an hour, so what the heck with it? But God, please, I want an aisle seat. Can you please open up one for me and let me be the oneness of all? I walk on the plane, so I'm like C something. I walk on the plane, and here in the front row is a man on the aisle and a woman next to the window, and the middle is empty. I'm like, whoa, I can have the empty. I said, can I move there? He said, just a minute. And he moved over. Come to find out, his wife was sitting by the window. He got there. He moved over. I got my aisle seat, NCA, and it's our aisle. Thank you, God. It's so amazing when things happen, when you feel the oneness of life and not feel separate. Oh my God, I'm seats on it, I'll never get up and blah, 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 and complain. No, you just let it go, you bless the whole thing. So, then I get there and I'm with people that are ministers. Before I left the Dallas, who are ministers, and they're doing the best they can at their ministry and their town and so forth. And so we learned a lot more about this particular church, which was Science of Mind Church. The minister was divine science. Now you know in New Thought, which we'll talk about, there's three main beliefs: science of mind, divine science, and unity. We'll talk about those more. And then there's us, who inhabits all of it, who brings them all in. We're non-denominational. I'm a minister of spiritual peacemaking, so I add that. We have Course in Miracles. We have a lot of different things. But it's nice going to these other churches. And I'll talk about that more, because I want to mention about this. Last week, then, I was at a retreat for the IM Institute with James Twyman in Portland, Oregon. And there were two people who flew with me from Denver. One of them was my soul student for 2 years, and I've never met her. And this has been going through the Academy of Soul Manifestation. So being a soul coach means not working around life coaching, but soul coaching, helping you get connected to your soul. And how wondrous that I was one with this woman for 2 years on the phone supporting her, and I finally get to meet her at the airport. Oh my God, it was great. And the other woman with her was on our soul group. A bunch of us, including the one who was my soul student, was in the soul group where we meet together. So I met her for the first time. And then I get to Portland, and there's 3 other people there that are part of it that I get to meet for the first time. Just to feel the oneness of another human being that I've talked to on the phone over time, that I've given support, that I've given love to, and finally meeting in physical form. So the 3 of us were there before everybody else, and we had a rental car, and after we checked in, we asked, is there some place to go visit? And the guy said, yeah, I want you to go out to this wildlife place. Wildwood something or other. So we go out there. And it's not wildlife as far as animals, but trees and everything. So these trees are like 60 feet tall or something, with moss, because of all the rain Portland gets. Moss on every side of them. And we're walking through this feeling so blessed. And there's some trees that are only about this side because they're old ones, and they had a little plaque up that talked about it, how back in the 30s, a lot of lumberjacks would go climb up those trees and cut them all down, and then they left this bottom part. You can see where there were marks there where they climbed up on it. And then there were other trees that were somewhat dead, and the live ones next to them, the branches went out and went into the tree to take nurturance from it. I mean, look at the oneness of that. We're standing there looking at these trees and these branches going in, they're getting fed by other ones that are next to it. And the 3 of us were talking to her, and I said, God, I feel one here too. I'm not separate from nature. I'm not separate from anything. There is only the one God is in the nature. For me to walk around and see these trees and go, hello God, hello oneness, hello source. So I wanted to buy a flower. I forgot to come in and say, let's pretend this is real. Can you see being one with this? Yeah. God created this beauty too. And we had a little experiment that we did when I was up in Portland, and that was that we had to go out in nature around there and find something that represented our connection to Source. And so I found this, I wish I had brought it back with me. It was a leaf sort of thing like this with all these little small ones going on one after another. They were all symmetrical and the same size. And they were bigger at one end and smaller at the other one. So it was about this long. And I wrote that and said, there's God flowing up the stem of this, and all those little leaves on the other side are all the experiences of my life. One's my prosperity, one's my health, one's my relationship. All those things, God's flowing through those. There is no separation. There's only one. So that's what we need to wake up to. There is only one mind, the mind of God. And we are part of that mind of God. Remember when you the first time I said that? We are part of the mind of God. What does that mean? That what would God think about fear? Separation? Judgment? No. God's mind is powerful beyond our own recognition right now as far as unconditional love and creation. And we are a part of that. Meaning the more we hook into it and believe it and can become one with it, we create this wondrous life that God has for us. There's only one heart, the heart of God. Which is not like the heart we have in our physical body, but it's a heart which is love. We are part of God's heart. We are part of God's love that flows within us. No separation. So anytime that we feel that, it's just our ego coming up, which we'll talk about more. Because we really, beloveds, we really have to practice oneness. Let's start here. Every time you come here on a Sunday morning, why don't you walk in that door and go, I am so blessed to be here, and so is everybody else, blessed to be here. And I am one with everybody, and I'm getting a chance to connect to God through Annie, through Bob. I get a chance to connect with God, and let's just feel the oneness and allow that. So once we leave here, then we can practice that out in the world with other people. Be the light that we are, and the love that we are. And that fits with, when we look at the heart of God, the art of spiritual peace, like which is something else we're going to talk about. It says, to love is God knows, to see is God sees, to know is God knows. That's part of our goal. To love is God knows, unconditional. No favor, no judgment, no separation. Anywhere you're at, there is God. I got to experience that with so many people in all the airports I flew in. The ministers' conference, the retreat last week with 32 beloved beings that were there to become ordained as ministers. Well, not all of them, 6 of us were already ordained. I'll talk more about that later. But yes.
One thing is just let's not leave it here. You know, it's a great thing we have here, and we see each other each week, and there's like consistency. Let's continue to be ambassadors in the community. And so let's find a way to make a point each week to connect with someone that we may not be as connected with. You know, have lunch with someone, have a coffee. Maybe this is going on, but seek out someone that you haven't done that with. I know I've been blessed to be able to meet people, but not everyone. So, you know, let's not make this just a, hey, it's Sunday morning, let's show up. Let's make it a point to take that next step, you know, of building those bridges, strengthening those bonds with each other.
Good addition. Just take that on. Okay. So I want to remind you of a couple of things. Being out in this wooded area, and this is what Stuart said to me one time, there's been the same trees, not the same ones, but the same kind of trees around the retreat center. Tall and erect. And I was walking through them one time when we had an option to go out, and you're saying, okay, God, I love it out here. And my only goal, my top goal, is to be the best minister I can be the best support person in my congregation that I can be. And the words God gave me was, stand as erect as this tree, and help the congregation stand as erect as the tree. And you stand up straight, and you look at the world, and you know who you are, as those trees know who they are. With power, with energy. So that's what I want for all of us. We had another experiment. Jimmy, in the past, has done this thing where, and he made a movie about it, where he had somebody hide a check with some money. The check was written out to him.
It was a playbook for an NFL player. They wanted to test their integrity to see if they actually read through it. It's the same story.
Yeah. But what he did was he had somebody take this check, or whatever it was he was hiding, and fly somewhere and hide it in the United States. And then Jimmy would hold her hand and get a map of the United States, and he figured out, or not figured out, but he trusted his energy and found out that it was somewhere on the West Coast. It was somewhere up in Portland, so he flew up to Portland. He went with the woman, walked around with her, started getting down closer and closer, and finally found her. So he had us do the same things. So he said, take an object that you have, and he put us with somebody, so I was with this other woman. And I had the key to my room. She had hers, that's what we used. So she went out ahead, and then she walked me with my hands. And my eyes were closed, and I had to feel, where was this at? so I'm walking outside like this with my hand, and I'm feeling energy. I'm going like somewhere in between here, and I'm going back and forth and trying to get it down to the right thing. Finally, I felt something right here, and I'm going, am I right? She said, no. So I opened my eyes, and I said, okay, something got in the way. So I went back to the start line, and this time I held her other hand. And I went to the left. And I'm walking to the left, and I keep feeling I'm going around and around, and then I'm going somewhere right in here. Sure enough, I look down in amongst the leaves with her feet. So I did the same thing for her. I hit it, and I brought her out, held her hand. She walked around a little bit, and then she started going over here, further, started going like this. Anyway, overall, she found the key. And about half the people did that. So is that oneness too? With a key? Yeah. Everything is God. God is everywhere. There is no place where God is not. So the more that we connect to the oneness, beloved, the more things come to us. Money, whatever it is, help, because it's all God. It's all one. So, I want you to look at somebody. Pick a partner. Do it here, so you don't have one. I'll come with the cake. Come on, up here. I missed you. I'm glad you're here today, so we'll bring you up front. Okay. A's go first. Pick an A. Oh, there you go. Somebody with us. You want to go work with her?
Sure.
Okay. A and B. Did you pick an A and a B? A goes first. Repeat after me. I behold the Christ in you. I behold the Christ in me. I behold the Christ in everyone. We are one. We are one. Okay, trade. Now it's peace. Says to A. Repeat after me. I behold the Christ in you. I behold the Christ in me. I behold the Christ in everyone. We are one. We are one. How's that feel? We did a special exercise with it, which I'm going to do with you some other church service.